Buenos días, Israel Torres aquí con el vocero y el noticiero de Caribbean American Passport. Estamos aquí en Cap Village en la conferencia de prensa y aquí tenemos una candidata del Distrito 1 para el comisionado. Por favor, introdúcete, de dónde eres, tu educación, etc. Please introduce yourself, hometown, education, etc.
Hola, me llamo Solcita. Lo siento un poquito español. Mi trabajar habla español. So, hola, hello, my name is Sunshine. I am running for your District 1 commissioner. I'm working on my Spanish. I took a couple years in college. I know I look 21, but it's been a couple decades. But I would be working on that as your commissioner because I think communication is important. And I'm working on Duolingo each and every day. I promise you that. And so a little bit about me, where I was born. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and I moved to Florida with my brother and sister as a young child and actually lived in the foster care system for over a decade and aged out at 18. And then I went to serve in the Minnesota Army National Guard and then came back domestically and served after the passing of my brother, who died in a motorcycle accident, and my sister was a single mother. And the reason I share that is she eventually passed away, and then we adopted her youngest child. And so I moved my service focus to serving domestically. So I did get a undergrad at the school, you might have heard of it, UCF, in psychology and leadership, and then a master's in nonprofit management from the College of Health and Public Affairs. It's a mouthful, but again, go Knights. So I worked in the nonprofit sector, and then I eventually worked in the for-profit sector. I've taught AP psychology. I'm currently a real estate broker, and I share that because I have the negotiation skills, but I also have the integrity not to serve that role while a candidate because of the possible conflict of interest. And I would also not serve as your elected official because I want you to know that your vote is my vote. And so I'm not going to risk that conflict of interest. We'll be talking more, I'm sure, about my experience and where I've gotten today to serve you as your District 1 Commissioner.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Perfecto. Para la segunda pregunta, for the second question, describe el Distrito 1, lo que significa para ti y lo que está pasando ahora mismo con ello. Please describe the area in District 1, what it means to you, and some current events that they might be going through at the moment.
Yes, so District 1, I think what describes it is the people. That's what I love most about District 1. But I will tell you a little bit first about geographically where we're located. We start west of the airport, which is called Tradeport, and then we go across the 528 corridor, and then it's east, and then it goes southeast. So you think of the Econ area up a little there, and then down Narcoossee. So we have some North Lake Park. That might be where I live. We have Randall Park, Innovation, Laureate Park, and communities all there in between. So that's the area that I get to serve as your candidate and hopefully as your next elected official. I believe you said one of the main issues that we have there actually goes along that getting around. Transportation seems to be the number one issue, and that transportation meaning traffic. And so some of the solutions would be transportation options. But one of the biggest issues I've heard, I walked our district, talked to hundreds of neighbors, and then probably the number one thing they did say was traffic, because it is such a day-to-day issue that people are facing and that we have to figure out. And I'll talk a little bit more about my solution is being proactive and making sure we have the infrastructure in place before we get to a place where our roads are beyond capacity. And that's thinking through also once they're at capacity, making sure that our lights are in sync and that we're doing everything to ensure that people can get around to live, work, and play in our amazing District 1.
Gracias por la contestación. Thank you for that answer. La tercera pregunta que te voy a preguntar, the third question I would like to ask, y es personal, kind of personal. ¿Qué fue lo que te interesó de las políticas locales para, entrar y correr con tu campaña? What was it that sparked your interest in these local politics that you actually jumped into the race?
So what sparked it is calls from my neighbor. So actually, originally they were arresting people downtown. This is probably decades ago for feeding the homeless, and so they were seeking, saying, "Hey, can anybody run?" And so I put my hat in the ring, learned more about the political system. But eventually, our family was moving outside of the district, and so I did not continue that campaign. But when I moved to District 1, the reason I share that is the backstory. They were destroying 70 acres of wetlands just beyond our community. And I remembered that the mayor sits on the GOA board who owns that land. And the reason that's important is our community spent over $100,000 for an attorney to advocate for the people. And it seemed like it was falling on deaf ears. But when I filed $5,000 just as a statement, as a platform for this issue, all of a sudden the community was invited to the table. And so that's what sparked my interest. And then also my eventual dream with action that our elected officials do not take campaign contributions and they only represent the people that they are there to serve. And that is the citizens who vote them into office. And so that's been a part of my journey and why I got involved, especially in District 1, in this office.
Amazing. Thank you again. And I'm gonna hit you with one more question before you leave, because I know you're on the campaign. You're probably busy.
Yes.
But the last question I would like to ask you, la última pregunta que te quisiera preguntar es, describe la posición de comisionado y los beneficios que le da a la comunidad. Unos cuantos ejemplos si puede. Y cómo tú hiciste una diferencia en el pasado. The question is, how does a commissioner seat benefit communities? Like, give a few examples, and what did you do in the past when you served the community?
So thank you so much for asking. So just last year, I ran for your supervisor of elections. And the reason I share that is I got over 100,000 people wanted me to represent them as their elected official. And even though I don't take money, it is quite an investment of my time, talent, and treasure. Just to qualify was about $10,000 or $12,000. But again, look at that return on investment of how I did there. And the reason I say that is I didn't know with the questions that I had reviewed was that the reason I'm running now is because my neighbors called. So that night I went to bed, did everything I could, got second of the four of us, and they're like, what are you running for next? And then it turned into, can you run for this seat? And so that's why I'm running for your commissioner, because if you look at an org chart with the city and what this role is as your commissioner, I'm your advocate. At the top of our org chart is the citizens. That's you. I work for you, no one else. So that's why I don't take endorsements. I don't take money, because at the end of the day, your elected official, this role is to be your advocate and make sure that our $180 billion, which is your money, is used appropriately on what you want. So I've talked to hundreds of neighbors. So while I don't take money, I do take priorities from you, because this is your money and I want you to be involved. What are your priorities? Are we spending your money appropriately? How can we better serve you? So every Sunday at 7, I actually have Sundays with Sunshine. It's a 15-minute open window Zoom call to where you can log in and talk to your commissioner directly. I've been doing that for months as your commissioner, and I would continue doing that as your elected official. Because while we have city council meetings about twice a month, that's not always available for you during the day. A lot of us work, school, all the different commitments. But Sunday at 7 is another opportunity. And of course, I would be out in the community talking with you throughout the week. But that's a direct time that you can log in, whether that works this Sunday, once a month, once a quarter, whatever works. So that's what I would do to make sure that I'm your vote and your voice, and that we are acting appropriately on what you see for the future of our community. And if you look more at sunshinegrund.com, you'll find out more about our platform. It's not my platform. Remember, I went and talked to you. I got hundreds of neighbors. We built this platform together to serve, unite, and nurture District 1 for the people. You'll start to see pinwheels. I don't take money, so I'm not spending it on signs, but you know what? Signs don't vote. I got over 100,000 votes last November with not one sign. I know, it's amazing. But we do have pinwheels. So red or blue, I got you, and the American flag, because this is what we're all about. And so if you start seeing that, make sure you're getting out to vote. Early voting has started. Our election day is open, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Tuesday, November 4th. Hope to see you at the polls. And these pinwheels are important because I hope to see you at the polls this Tuesday, but I want to see you next year in the midterms. I want to see your vote and your voice counted each and every election. I don't just say that, I live it. is who I am, and thus I know who we can be together. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por pasar aquí en Cap Village hoy y hacer la conferencia de prensa con nosotros. Thank you very much for stopping by Cap Village and doing the press conference with us. We wish you the best of luck. We'll be following you and covering every second. Let's
Gracias,
get that
gracias.
win. Vamos a ganar.
District 1.
El Distrito 1.